I'm curious about some of the changes. You mentioned that it used to be a little more Serpent and the Rainbow. So that sounds more like, Caribbean, Haiti, that sort of voodoo world. And why did you switch it then to Thailand? Was it just budgetary? Did you feel like it served the story more? Why did you make some of those changes?
No, none of that. If I recall correctly, when the original idea was trying to shoot Haiti for Haiti or going to some place and make it look like Haiti, there was huge tropical storms. And at that time, there was a huge, huge thing that knocked out everywhere that we were looking to go. And insurance was a nightmare for us to try to be insured to go to any of these places in the middle of this season. Knowing that we had a short window of time for myself as well as Maggie Q, we couldn't risk that. So then we looked at doing Hawaii. But Hawaii has a much different look than Haiti. You can't double Hawaii as that, specifically with the actors that we would need. So we decided to look elsewhere, which then brought up Thailand. So it was a lot of it had to do with production issues, to try to be authentic to that type of story. And then we found a mythology in Thailand that was dating back hundreds and hundreds of years that we kind of grasped onto and said, this would be cool. Let's take the seed of an idea and put it here. Yeah, it's one of those things that you change 1% over the course of a few months and it becomes something different. It's one of those things that happens so gradually that you don't actually see it happening. Well, I was going to say one of the other things that we had to deal with, which was extremely something that I was not prepared for or ready for, was the conditions of shooting in Krabi, which was where Bangkok and Krabi are the two places we filmed this. I've never experienced heat like that. On top of that, the mosquitoes. There's something called dengue fever over there, which you don't want. It's when a mosquito bites you and you basically go to the hospital and bleed out your eyes, and I'm not joking you. And we're shooting in the forest. So one of the things that we had to do is we had to wear long sleeve shirts, long sleeve pants, protective gear when you're already dealing with 100-degree heat and, a huge humidity. And it was so that the challenges of production dictated a lot of what we did and were able to do as well.
You've shot in Spain, it sounds like, obviously Thailand for this movie. Maybe you can just quick, in a minute or two, kind of give us a just an overview of some of the problems in shooting in Asia versus the U.S. versus Japan versus Spain. What are some of the problems and what are some of the things that are easier in these other countries?
That's a hard one. So I'll tell you, one of the best filmmaking experiences that I've ever had in my entire life was in Japan. And I'll give you what's so crazy about it. When you go to Japan and you do a production meeting, so in America, when you do a production meeting, you meet with a department head. So I meet with costumes. I'm sitting in a room with a costume designer or a production designer. I'm sitting in the room with a production designer. But in Japan, when you meet with a costume designer, every single department is there. The grips are there. The gaffers are there. The special effects teams are there. The DP is there. Every single person is there. And you sit in this room, and it's like you and the cinematographer sitting in a room talking, but standing completely surrounding you is every other person in the department or in the production. And it was really off-putting when I first did it. I was like, what is this? And it kind of was frustrating for a little bit because I was like, I'm trying to bond with these people or have these conversations. And I felt like I was being crowded upon. Well, let me tell you how that was the best thing that ever happened, because when I would show up to set on any given day, they knew everything. Every department knew everything, and there was not a second wasted, not a minute wasted, because it wasn't like someone hearing something for the first time. Every department was aware of what was happening from every other department. And it was amazing.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Selling Your Screenplay podcast. If you'd like to hear the full interview, just go to sellingyourscreenplay.com/podcasts, or to go directly to the episode, just use the link in the show notes. Thanks for watching.